Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Jeremy Schumacher. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I'm the Jer in Wellness with Jer. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the channel today. We are back with another song review. For those of you who may be new to the channel, I don't know shit about music. I have zero musical talent. I'm here to talk about the mental health concepts in the lyrics. This is a band I just saw Tuesday night here in Milwaukee, and I have been buzzing ever since. June Yards. I had no idea how they recorded, and their live show was fantastic. Strong recommend to catch Tune Yards on the rest of their tour or in the future. They were incredible live. And so I found a live version of the song that I've been having on a loop in my head since I saw them a few days ago. We are going to talk about How Big is the Rainbow by Tune Yards. And like, I have a live version because a studio recorded at a public radio station. Support your local public radio. The fascists in charge, cut a bunch of funding to NPR and other public radio. So support your local radio stations. Anyway, we have a video from WFUV 90.7 public radio in New York from Fordham University. That was my radio voice. Tune Yards was there and recorded live, and I wanted to show how they record because I had no idea they did so much like looping and of their own playing around with sound effects in the live performance. And it's great as an audience member. Meryl Garbus, who's the lead singer, and Nate Brennan on the bass, but Meryl gets a lot of audience participate. Find it, Jer. Meryl gets a lot of audience participation, and then we'll record that and loop it to make like the sound. And it's very cool. A lot of like highlights from this show. This is definitely one of them. Gangsta was awesome. I mean, I knew Water Fountain and Gangsta are like the songs that have gotten radio play regularly, so I was familiar with those songs, and obviously liked them enough to get tickets to go see Tune Yards. But I had no idea how they did their live shows, and it was really incredible. So we're gonna get just a small taste of that, and we're gonna talk about what a incredible song this is. So if I can. No, I can't. I was trying to use a keyboard shortcut. Here we go. How Big is the Rainbow by Tune Yards. Okay, I'm going to pause it there. Where did I go? I'm here. Hey. So again, like very cool. I'm just like so enamored with this recording live. I've seen, top 5 artists for me is Dan Deacon. So an insane board of pedals and buttons and all the weird electronica stuff he can do. And I've seen, Tribe Called Red. They're not called that anymore. The Hallucination, formerly known as Tribe Called Red. It's like I've seen DJs, I've seen this stuff in other forms of music, but again, I had no idea. Shame on me, I guess. But it's a very cool experience to see live, just all the pedals and recordings and all the cool stuff she's doing. I mean, like the immense talent it takes to be able to not just sound very good while you're singing, which is a talent in and of itself, but then to do all that stuff. Incredible. But I love this song, and I picked this song because I if you follow any of my other stuff, which you are not obligated to, but you can. Uh, the podcast, I'm talking about politics every other week because there's so many things that are going on in the United States here that are bad for our mental health. It's so hard to be well. If you feel good right now, like go to therapy. And that's not because therapy is supposed to make you feel bad, but there's a distinct lack of empathy if you look around at what's going on in the United States. And you're like, yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is exactly what I voted for. Um, and so if you have any degree of empathy or any degree of critical thinking, it is a tough time to be living in the United States right now. And so this song, I think, does a nice job of like calling out some of the hate and some of the bullshit, but also it's not like a negative song. It's a hopeful, it's an optimistic song. It's one of the things where, I love this live show with Tune Yards because they talk about being anti-racist. They talk about white people holding other white people accountable. Talk about, drawing people in. And I think that's a message that sometimes I myself can get lost in. I can lose track of that message. I can get so focused on these people are bad and wrong. And if you voted for this, like the fuck. And it's easy to follow that sort of doom scrolling and that negative feedback loop that the internet thrives on. And I say the right things about building community and connecting, but it is hard to, again, like always hold space for people who are actively doing harm and say, no, 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 like open arms over here. Like, come on, let's learn, let's grow together, let's fix this. You are welcome here, not with your hate, not with your intolerance, but like come understand where we're at. Um, and so lyrics, in case you missed it, I feel no shame except the shame you throw with your eyes. I know that I'm no safer in disguise. Do you feel the hate inside your heart? Do you feel a hatred start to grow? Just know that it's hate that lets you know just how much further your heart has to go. And like I love that flip on it is hatred, it is bigotry. Like this song is about the LGBTQ plus community, specifically trans folks, which Meryl talks about in sort of her songwriting process. And the actual music video, which we're missing, which is delightful. Go watch it. We're missing it to see the live stuff. I had to pick, the music video didn't have the lyrics. That would have really decided it for me because I'm autistic and I like to see my lyrics printed out. But that switch, that like hatred is not, it's not helpful. Certainly, I don't like to use the paradigm of right and wrong. So that's race evangelical. It's not really a helpful paradigm, but I do use helpful, unhelpful, and like hate is an unhelpful thing. But rather than just sort of throwing it out the window and saying it's unhelpful, saying like, hey, that is a marker that like you got a growth edge. If we want to use some business talk, some synergy, corporate synergy says that's a growth edge for you. But this idea that hatred lets you know how far your heart still has to go. And I think that's lovely, as lovely as we can make hate. Leave it to an artist who's much better with words than I am to come up with that lovely twist of the phrase there to give it some hopefulness. But again, I mean, I work with a ton of LGBTQ plus folks. This administration has been deeply harmful to them. It's become a much less safe country for a lot of folks who don't look like the gender that they were assigned at birth and who aren't white. Right? Let's call out that white supremacy when we see it. And so this idea of how big is the rainbow, it's like this rhetorical question, but it is not limited except by the people who are limiting it in their own lives. And we can't limit it for other people, right? And so the shame is not coming from people who are queer or trans or gender nonconforming. They're not ashamed of who they are. It's the shame that society writ large, that white men, conservatives feel about how they aren't living their authentic lives, how they can't be comfortable in their own skin. And so they then want to shame anyone else who is. They want to hate drag story hour because they can't enjoy it. They wear eyeliner, JD Vance, or a shit ton of tanner, Donald Trump. Like these are not like they're performing masculinity because of their own insecurity, not because they're alpha males, which again is a concept that is based on bad science. You're just outing yourself if you talk like that, as basing your entire identity on bad science, which in a way is like, yeah, right. Correct. That makes sense when you look at the conservative movement. That this is all based on a misunderstanding of bad science. Let's get back to the hopeful stuff. I'm going to back it up just a second here. Thankfully, because I was going to forget to share my screen. Second verse.
You have become someone that I don't recognize. You twist reality just to bring it down to your size. But it's an illusion that you see. Oh, it's an illusion you control. And it's an illusion till you ground yourself in a love that makes you whole. Oh, how big is the rainbow? 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 Never gets so lucky, Can I feel my body leave my body, leave reality? Unwind yourself from all you know, 'cause I saw your God and your God can see. How big is the
Okay, I'm pausing it. 257. It's a sneaky way for me to let my media person know where I paused it. I'm gonna save the outro so that we all have the wonderful "How Big Is the Rainbow" playing on our way out instead of me talking about authoritarianism. That's not fun or positive. Reminder for the lyrics. Here, you've become someone that I don't recognize. You twist reality just to bring it down to your size, but it's an illusion that you see, it's an illusion you control, and it's an illusion till you ground yourself in a love that makes you whole. Again, like calling out bigotry and hatred and then like landing in this like and you can be better than that. That's lovely. Welcome. Come join us over here where it's nice and loving. Um a bonus review. I'm reading the book Forest Euphoria, and The Abounding Queerness of Nature is the subtitle. And it's a lovely book, and it's about swamps and you know fungus and mushrooms and all the like yucky, dirty things that our very sterile modern society has grown to try and eradicate that we really need to survive. Um, and so like this song reminds me of that book, and I'm reading the book, and it's very lovely, and I highly, highly, highly recommend it for everyone to read. But that nature and biology are not interested in sort of man-made constructs. That something like a gender binary, there is only male or female, like is false. It's not rooted in anything other than insecure men's feelings about their, I was going to say tiny dicks, but that feels unnecessarily mean on my part. Um, that's not reality. Gender is this expansive thing. Sex, biological sex, is this expansive thing. And when we look at ourselves as members of this planet, as members of a wide, diverse biome that we are just one part of, you can see the expansiveness in it, that there are beings, there are entities that change their sex based on the needs of their environment. There are beings that are both sexes, that are no sexes, that are 3 or 4 or 5 sexes, because that can be how mushrooms can reproduce. Like there's an incredible diversity to it, and we're limiting the potential and our understanding and our connection, our possibility to connect with each other by being scared of it, by being, no, that can't be true. We need it to fit this nice, neat black and white thing because that's all our brain can handle. And it creates this dysregulation for so many folks. Again, I'm loving Forest Euphoria because it's also the author's experience of understanding their own queerness. And I think it's just this lovely space to be in where you're like, yeah, we can be more than that. We don't need to be cis, heteronormative, forced monogamy. Like it can be this much more expansive, much more understanding, spacious thing. And you don't have to participate in all of that if that's not you, but you're also not allowed to try and limit that for other people. And so, you twist reality just to bring it down to your size. If you're interested in a binary, again, you're just telling on yourself that you are not open or willing or capable of understanding something that's more expansive than that. Some of the lyrics she's looping and recording are "Open the gates, let me in. I want to know how to begin again in this lifetime again." Um, I feel my body, leave reality, unwind yourself from all you know, because I saw your God and your God can't see me. And again, I mean, as somebody who was raised fundamentalist and somebody who works with religious trauma, like the Christian evangelical understanding of God is like this gender neutral, gender expansive thing, sort of an understanding of Jesus being born of Virgin Mary would require that he is either trans, because he would have only gotten the reproductive material from his mother, a woman, and he would have had to be a woman then. I'm oversimplifying a touch, but like again, because Christians are oversimplifying how biology works, because we can't actually reproduce with spirits and ghosts. Just saying. So, but a more literal reading of the Bible, hilariously, in my opinion, is that God actually used King David from the Old Testament sperm to impregnate Mary, which means that God has some sort of cosmic sperm bank up in heaven, which I think is much, much funnier, and gets around the trans issue. But again, then like begs a lot more questions, like how much sperm did God keep from David, and did he extract it while he was alive, or like did David have his testicles with him in heaven? Like I was taught that we would get new perfect bodies in heaven, so that wouldn't make sense. So again, it creates more questions because again, this is not based in reality. That's a fairy tale. Which again, the fairy tale of this all being omnipotent God who's also like super spiteful and vengeful and has done a couple different genocides and could do literally anything else if he's truly omnipotent and chooses not to. So he kind of sucks and is not a good guy who deserves anyone's worship. Just on my soapbox here. But that God can't see this expansive stuff, that hateful entity that evangelicals are worshiping, just priming them for authoritarianism, obviously. This is why I didn't want to end on my talking points, but really wanted to end on some beautiful outro music because it's really frustrating and terrible that these people are in charge. Again, like I love that line, because I saw your God and your God can't see me. And as somebody who's left religion and somebody who is openly atheist and advocating for freedom from religion and freedom of religion, I'm not trying to take religion away from folks. I'm just holding that line that you do not get to dictate other people's beliefs. And again, we're living in an authoritarian time. We're living in fascist times where we have orders that being an atheist is illegal. Again, how can you make a non-action illegal? How can you make not believing in something illegal? Like it's this preposterous shrinking reality down to fit your size. These small little insecure men who are so scared of their big feelings. So again, and like here's this expansive thing. Like there's this community. If you've ever been able to do a drag story hour, or you've gone to your local pride event, like it is this lovely celebratory expansive thing. It's not small, it's not limiting, it's lovely and it's welcoming. And the hate preachers who are out on the corner are like these sad little restricted people. I hand them my business card and tell them when they would they like to learn how to stop being bigots, they can let me know. It's not a good use of my business cards. I haven't heard from any of them. Maybe one day I'll get a hate preacher to come in and see me. That would be fun. Anyway, the rainbow is as big as we need it to be. The environment, our citizenship as earthlings, He's unlimited. It's expansive. Connect to your community. Find your peeps. Go to a Tune Yard concert and meet new people. I saw somebody who I knew, and I wasn't expecting them to be at the show. And like, apparently, they're way cooler than I would have otherwise known. Um, that's not me throwing shade at them. That's my own limited thinking about people. Look at me growing. We can all do better. Bigots specifically need to do better. Yeah, go see Tune Yards. It's great. Let's watch the outro together. Let's listen to the looping. How big is the rainbow? Again, it's just been looping in my brain without the music playing anyway. So I'm happy to share this all with you. Like, subscribe, drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Go look up Tune Yards' rest of their tour. They've got some US dates still, and they're going over to Europe. So like, check them out. Strong recommend. It's one of those concerts that I went to already liking the band, and then I saw them live. And it's like, holy shit, this band's so much cooler and better than I even knew. Also, Tune Yards, if you happen to see this video, there's no reason for you to, but maybe. Wonders of the internet. Please do a cover of Oh Superman by Laurie Anderson. I just like had it in my head the whole concert that like I would love to hear them do Oh Superman. I almost shouted it out, but it seems disrespectful to request someone else's song at a concert venue where you're seeing that person. I was thinking of covers. This is just an entire tangent. I was thinking of covers because what Kassa Overall was the opener. Someone who I didn't know was like nerdy jazz musician, very talented, very good. Support Kassa's work too. I bought a vinyl that he had at the show, and all of Tune Yard's vinyl because I'm a hipster. And his most recent album is Cream, and he does 90s, 80s, and 90s rap songs, and he records them as if they were 60s jazz songs. And like, my ADHD brain's already popping off on that. Like, sign me up. So he did a cover, live performance of his song Big Papa, which is what you think it is, but as a jazz tune from the 60s, and it's incredible. So I think I was primed for thinking of covers, and listening to Meryl's singing style. It's just like, I would love to hear her do Oh Superman and the looping. If you don't know Oh Superman by Laurie Anderson, do yourself a favor and go listen to that, and then do yourself an even bigger favor and listen to David Bowie covering it while Gail Dorsey does the vocals, because that's incredible. Maybe I'll talk about Oh Superman, because I also would love to see it in a Superman film. It's just right there, gang. The outro. The lovely bass of Nate Brennan and Meryl Garbus on vocals. It's tremendous. Let's experience it together.
How big is the rainbow? How big is the rainbow? How big is the rainbow? How big is the rainbow?
Again, shout out to WFUV 90.7. That's fun. I'm having a fun time doing my radio voice. I am never on the radio, so that's a made up concept in my head. That was How Big is the Rainbow by Tune Yards. I was going to end on the vocals, but I realized I had more things to say, and that is, protect trans folks, support your local LGBTQ plus community center. They also need funding. If you're a white cis dude, go support trans people. Go support Gender non-conforming activities like drag story hours. Go stand out there safely, wear your pride merch, and let them know that they are safe and loved and worthy and deserving of space, and that they are good and helpful and wonderful parts of our human ecosystem. To people who are still struggling, who maybe aren't out yet, who aren't in a safe place, like the trans folks, the gender nonconforming folks, the people who don't have a category that works for them, all the queer people out there. We love you. We see you. You belong. I love this song. I love this band. It's a wonderful experience. Go see Tune Yards. And, take care of yourself, take care of somebody else is my normal outro. And that feels very important in these modern times. Thank you so much. Lots of things on the internet you could be spending your time doing, and I appreciate that you spent some time with me. Like, subscribes, those things help me. I got a little boost in subscribers recently because I had some things to say about Nazis being bad. Shouldn't be a controversial take, but here we are. So, like, subscribe. That's super helpful for people to find my work. I try, truly. I'm accumulating a list of song recommendations that people would like to hear me review, but I will get to them all. So drop it down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. And truly, honestly, not just for clicks and not just to make the algorithm happy and not just because I'm autistic, I need to have the same intro and outro every time because it's all I know how to do at this point. Truly, take care of yourself, take care of somebody else. Peace.